Hello, I chose to do the artwork found on page 349. This artwork is called The Funerary Rites and the Spirit's Pathway After Death. I identified the art to be a visual art, and I also identified it to be a abstract art. The reason why I identified it as a abstract art was because you can clearly see what seems like human figures and a fish. And most abstract art is works that depict natural objects in simplified, distorted, or aggravated ways. So you can definitely tell that it was art and it was of people and it was in simplified way. I also identified this art to be somewhat of, I guess, worship or ritual. This is what someone believed happened after the death of another person. I also feel like it was a self-expression art because we're not exactly sure if this is what happened. We just think this is what he believes happened. In this painting, I feel like we find several different types of paintings of like several different types of shades of color, several different lines used throughout the artwork. I identified some directional forces. Directional forces was the pathways that I seen going from one part of the artwork to the next part and then to the next one. So I feel like that focused your eyes to tell you we're going from block one, block two, block three, block four. And that's exactly what the artist intended us to do. I also see a lot of I guess biometric figures. Biometric figures are shaped based on natural form. We clearly see a head, legs that identify that these are people. I also feel like there was the artist used some type of scale. The scale is identified as in how you can see the fish compared to the human. The fish is much bigger compared to the human, which is what the purpose of a scale is for. Um, it's to show the size difference between two different figures. So in this particular artwork, it will be the size difference between the fish and the human. I also feel like, I guess, like I said, he used time and motion, which he identified in the four different sections. Because in here, you clearly see someone is laying in a box, which I guess would be more associated with death. And as you see, the figure has now risen from the box and is traveling down the pathway. So that's the reason why I felt like he used time and motion. I also seen, like I said, the time segment, time and motion, and in the artwork, I seen a lot of browns. There's some orange, there's some whites, but I did not see many of the color hues that were identified in the book. I couldn't find really any correlation between those. Um, I think that is it. If you have any comments, please leave them below and give me your feedback.